For today's headlines, go for stronger regulated co-op banks. Dominguez urges tax management experts to encourage payment of right taxes. PNP reshuffles 16 generals. PCG greenlights hijab for Muslim women force. Northern Samar towns ASF infected. Velasco urges peaceful, safe, eco-friendly polls. Xi to meet Putin as tensions rise with West. Good morning, I am Venice Bautista and you are watching Tribune News on Cue. Today is February 4 and here are the latest news of this Friday morning. Senator Christopher Bongo expressed support for the measure to strengthen and properly regulate cooperative banks across the country. This follows the approval of House Bill 9541, or the Cooperative Banking Act, in the House of Representatives last week. On February 2, Go remarked how cooperative banks are crucial to financially strapped Filipinos amid the pandemic, especially in remote areas. He noted that it is high time to pass a law that would strengthen said banks as they play a significant role in the country's economic development. The bill provides for the registration, regulation, and operation of cooperative banks under the supervision of Bangko Sentral in accordance with the General Banking Law of 2000. It aims to increase the membership of cooperative banks by making them available to foreign cooperatives, provided that the latter may not own more than 40% of the total outstanding voting shares of a cooperative bank. The proposed measure shall likewise allow cooperative banks to undertake an array of financial services such as deposit taking, extending credit, discounting and rediscounting, dealing in debt securities, and participating in government allocation programs equipped towards promotion of financial inclusion, among others. Go expressed his optimism that the proposed measure would help provide stable, sustainable, and efficient operations for the protection of the public interest, saying that this will not only strengthen the banks, but also help our farmers, fisherfolk, small traders, and micro-entrepreneurs in rural areas. Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez III has called on tax management professionals to help build trust among taxpayers and encourage them to pay the right amount of taxes instead of finding loopholes for their clients to get away with tax evasion and avoidance. Dominguez said that although the government was able to surpass its 2021 revenue targets, with collections last 9% higher than in 2020, the numbers show that the effective tax rate for the value-added tax, or VAT, remains at 5% against the legal rate of 12%. The effective rate for the corporation income tax, or the CIT, before the Corporate Recovery and Tax Incentives for Enterprises, or the CREATE, law took effect last year, so that only 9% against the legal rate of 30%, Dominguez also noted. Dominguez traced such yawning discrepancies between the actual legal rate and the effective tax rate to the practice of tax evasion and avoidance resulting from the expert tax management by professionals for their taxpayer clients. While these tax management practices might serve to improve the profit margins of taxpayers, such schemes prevent the government from collecting enough to invest in productive projects, he said. Dominguez pointed out that for some professionals, that tax management means finding the loopholes and uncovering the means for tax avoidance. This is probably the more lucrative side of the profession, but it is not most patriotic. He also cited the implementation of climate actions on the ground and the Philippines' demand for climate justice before the international community, along with its ongoing pandemic response measures to ensure the country's resilience against future threats. National Police Chief General Gennaro Carlos ordered a reorganization of senior officers occupying key positions in the force, affecting 16 generals. The reshuffle comes in the wake of changes in the leadership of middle and lower-level police commands across the country for the upcoming national elections. Carlos, however, said this time's shake was due to the retirement of some officers in the upper echelons. Major General Hermino Tadio Jr. is named as the new head of the Directorate of the Personnel and Records Management by Major General Rolando Hinanay, who retired Thursday. Major General Bartolome Bustamante was named to be the helm of the Directorate for Plans, while Major General Walter Castillejos is now the head of the Directorate for Police Community Relations. After Hinanay, Major General Nixon Muksan and Major General Domingo Cabillan are also set to retire this month. The two were placed under Carlos's office before their retirement. Brigadier General Eliseo Cruz, Brigadier General Eden Ogale, and Brigadier General Alessandro Abella were named as heads of the area police commands in Visayas, Western Mindanao, and Northern Luzon, respectively. Brigadier General Armando De Leon will now lead the PNP training service, and Brigadier General Mafelino Bazar was named to be the Directorate for Controllership, while Brigadier General Romel Bernardo Camagno and Brigadier General Ferdinand Cifuentes were also placed under Carlos's office. Tribune News on Cue will be back after these reminders.
Si Harry Roque ang pinakamagaling na spokesman, kaya inggit sa kanya ang oposisyon.
Tama lang na ipinaglaban ko ang balik trabaho para bumalik ang kita ng mga nagtatrabaho at naghahanap buhay. Hindi pwedeng magutom ang pamilya. Dapat lang po ingat buhay para sa hanap buhay. Basta trabaho, kita at hanap buhay ang nakataya. Nasa harap niyo po ako.
Ibigay natin ang tudong suporta kay Harry.
We are back on Tribune News on Cue. And in other news, the Philippine Coast Guard, or PCG, announced that it has allowed the use of hijab, a cloth worn by Muslim women to maintain modesty and privacy from unrelated males, to lady Muslim personnel of the Maritime Force. PCG Commandant CG Admiral Leopoldo Laroya allowed the wearing of hijab for their Muslim women personnel to give respect to the tradition of the country's Muslims. This comes after a memorandum and proposal of PCG Command Imam CG Captain Alikman Borowa to the PCG Uniform Board to include hijab to the uniform worn by female Muslim PCG personnel last March 4, 2021. According to the Encyclopedia of Islam and the Muslim World, modesty concerns both men's and women's gaze, gait, garments, and genitalia. The Quran instructs Muslim women and men to dress modestly. The wearing of hijab as added clothing for lady Muslim personnel took effect on January 25, 2022, and with this, the Muslim community of the PCG conveyed their sincere gratitude to Laroya, PCG Uniform Board Chairperson, CG Vice Admiral Artemio M. Abu, as well as to PCG senior officers and other members of the PCG Uniform Board for supporting the establishment of the identity of the Muslim Parima in the Coast Guard Service. With this, members of the said community hope that the inclusion of hijab in the official PCG uniform will encourage more Muslim women to join the Coast Guard workforce. The Provincial Veterinary Office in Katarman, Northern Samar, disclosed that it has detected the dreaded African swine fever, or ASF, in another town, bringing the total number of municipalities infected by the disease to 8. Provincial Veterinarian Jose Luis Acompañado confirmed the ASF infestation in Katubig Town, the first municipality to have been hit by the ASF this year. Acompañado said that since the first case of ASF in the province was recorded on March 15, 2021, in Lope de Vega Town, in a total of 37 barangays, 374 farmers, and 801 hogs were affected. Other municipalities in this province that have been reported with ASF cases were Mondragon, Catarman, Pambuhan, Bobon, Las Navas, and Silvino Lobos. All of them were recorded last year. In a meeting of the Provincial ASF Task Force, Acompañado recommended a strict implementation of biosecurity measures in the barangays, the establishment of border checkpoints, and monitoring of live pigs and pork products in the municipalities. Villalobos noted that the cooperation among mayors, municipal agriculture officers, barangay captains, and the local police is the paramount solution in controlling the ASF. Northern Samar Provincial Board member Albert Lucero, chair of the Agriculture and Food Security Committee at the Provincial Board, assured local agriculturists of the full support of the provincial government. Lucero said that the provincial government has allocated 3 million pesos for ASF programs, including providing as a counterpart in the indemnification of pigs that will be culled, adding that a proposed provincial ordinance on ASF was also crafted and is currently undergoing review by the Provincial Legal Office. As the House of Representatives adjourned the session for the election period on Wednesday, House Speaker Lord Alan Velasco rallied his fellow lawmakers to do their part in ensuring that the May 9, 2022 polls will be peaceful, orderly, safe, and eco-friendly. In his remarks at the closing of the session for election recess, Velasco urged his fellow House members to take advantage of the positive benefits of the new normal brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic as they return to their districts to campaign for the elections. He encouraged lawmakers to present their platforms on social media and engage in respectful interviews and debates through mass media. Velasco, a known advocate for the environment, said that embracing new ways of campaigning can also benefit nature. The House will return briefly from May 23 to June 3 prior to the adjournment of the third and final session of the 18th Congress. During that period, both chambers of Congress will also convene as National Board of Canvassers tasked to proclaim the country's incoming president and vice president. Velasco is seeking re-election as representative of the Lone District of Marinduque. Tribune News on Q will be back. Stay with us.
This public service advisory is brought to you by Daily Tribune and 100.3 RJFM.
Oh, vaccination, isolation. Gotta keep up with my nutrition. Gotta maintain my body condition. Then I can take my vaccination. What do I choose? What do I take? As long as it is not a fake. AstraZeneca, Moderna, BioNTech, even Sinovac, okay na. Babakuna ka ba? 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 Vaccination for the nation, no more isolation. With vaccination, babakuna ka ba? 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 Paturok, paturok, paturok.
This public service advisory is brought to you by Daily Tribune and 100.3 RJFM.
You are still watching Tribune News on Q, and now for our foreign news. China's President Xi Jinping is poised for his first face-to-face meeting with a world leader in nearly 2 years on Friday when he hosts Russia's Vladimir Putin, with the pair drawing closer as tensions grow with the West. Xi has not left China since January 2020, when the country was grappling with its initial COVID-19 outbreak and locked down the central city of Wuhan, where the virus was first detected. He is now readying to meet more than 20 leaders as Beijing kicks off a Winter Olympics it hopes will be a soft power triumph and shift focus away from a build-up blighted by diplomatic boycott and fears. Xi and Putin will meet in the Chinese capital before their nations release a joint statement reflecting their common views on security and other issues, a top Kremlin advisor said at a Wednesday press briefing. The two strongmen will then attend the Olympic opening ceremony on Friday evening. Spiraling tensions with the West have bolstered ties between the world's largest nation and its most populous, and Putin was the first foreign leader to confirm his presence at Friday's opening ceremony. And that wraps up the stories this morning. We'd like to thank the SM Store, our data center, MG Motors, Hina Motors, Security Bank, and Alan Lin of Republic of China. Once again, this is Venice Bautista on Tribune News on Q. Good morning.
The latest news on our website, tribune.net.ph. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. Download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS and Google Play for Android to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune invites you to join its Viber community, Tribune, to get updates on the hottest news on politics, business, sports, lifestyle, and entertainment. Emoticons of the Tribune mascot Tarcito are available on our community Viber.